How about now? Yep, I hear it now. How about now? We're good. Huh? Oh, yeah, we're good.
We're just gonna go 8 minutes over.
Okay, got you. How about now?
That is on the radio.
Technical difficulties. We have to understand.
Yeah. Yep.
I don't know how you guys do this.
Fade out.
All right, welcome back. Welcome back. Thank you for staying with me tonight. Just to recap with everybody, anybody that's just now joining in, we're talking about, what will we do different in 2023? And this is not in terms of, New Year's resolutions. I feel like for myself, sometimes New Year's resolutions, I set unrealistic New Year's resolutions, to be honest with you. And it's the same resolution every year. I'm going to get in the gym, I'm going to eat right, and, do all that good stuff. And it really doesn't happen like that. Last year, I actually did join the gym as my New Year resolution. Ask me how many times I went to the gym. But it's just about what will you do different to be a better you. What will you reflect on to grow yourself? To mature yourself. We get so caught up in doing the same things. Paying bills the same way. Instead of making a plan, handling work and are we going into work with that same I don't want to work attitude. It's you have to balance everything. It's about your attitude. You have to literally grow yourself in order to make the changes that you want to make for you to do things differently. Learning to go I'm learning to even just go to work with a more positive attitude. Things change at work and I'm not happy about it, but I'm still getting paid no matter how many changes they make. My paycheck is still going. So as long as it's right, you can change it if you're going to increase it, but we don't want no decrease. But yeah, what will you do different? What do you need to do different? What do you need to reflect on, and what areas of your life do you need to change? Do you need to be a better mom? Do you need to be a better dad? Do you need to be a better daughter or son? I think these are all things, that we have to think about instead of just going into it like, oh, that's just my mom, that's just my dad. Like I say, I'm gonna say it over and over. Yeah, tomorrow is not promised. Get the relationship right if it's gonna get right, and if it's not, it's gonna get left. I literally seen a meme the other day that said, my life is on do not disturb. I'm only answering for who I want to, and that's okay. And you have to be okay with setting limits and setting boundaries. I don't answer my phone for everybody. If I don't want to talk, I don't want to talk, and I'm not explaining why I didn't answer. As bad as that sounds, but it's my form of self care, especially like when I know I'm in a great mood, and I don't want that to be ruined. And I'm an empath. I feel everything and everything, and it's like even with the storm right now and everything that's going on, I have to stay off social media because I'm literally internalizing all of it, and I'm just like, wow, like what is happening? But I'm just learning to set those boundaries on what brings me down and what brings me up. And even if that's just literally stopping through the midst of my day and saying a quick prayer, like, "Hey God, I feel myself not feeling right. I need you to help me adjust." Like you have to be different in order to get different. You have to put in the work, and it's not gonna happen overnight. Unfortunately, I know we all would love it too, but it's a process, and you have to trust the process. You have to trust God, and just walk in it. Walk in the fact that okay, this is what I want to do differently. Personally, this year I wanted to control my emotions. I feel like sometimes I just let people just hit the spot, and I'm just ready, and that's not okay with me because in the end, it's ultimately you that's feeling bad after you just showed your behind, and and then you're sitting at home like, did I really have to do all of that? And I think as African American people too, sometimes as women and men, we get the stereotype of the mad black woman and the mad black man, and Jerry, what's it? I think his name was Jerry Edmond, was a perfect example of that. The guy, did you see the guy who he went to his first NFL game, and there was a Caucasian woman yelling at him. He's a Patriots
Yes, the
fan.
dude with the dreads.
Dreads, yes. And they
Yes. I
ended up
love
the
that
Patriots
story.
ended up giving him like a new coming to the game, getting a suite and
Yeah.
enjoying the game from the suite. All because he never reacted. He said it was his first NFL game and he just wanted to have
I just
fun.
wanted to
He
enjoy
just
it.
wanted to enjoy it.
That was
And
it.
that was big to me because that lady was in his face. And if you know me,
Karen would have got
listen,
got.
listen. So it's really all about just controlling you, controlling your emotions, and separating yourself from your emotions because you control your emotions. Your emotions don't control you. You control your destiny. It's just about how bad you're willing to go out there and get it. Um, and I think once we realize that and tap into that and spend that time alone, even if you have to do it alone, you have to do it. This is a process that you have to go through, not your friends, not your mother, not your brother. So if you have to isolate yourself to get through it, that's what you have to do, and you have to be okay with that. You have to let people know that you're okay with that and that this is how it's going to be. And honestly, you don't have to let people know, but you have to separate yourself. In order to elevate, elevation requires separation. And it's unfortunate, and some people can't elevate with other people. What may work for you may not work for me, and what may work for me may not work for you. But you just have to find out what works for you. And I think until you write the plan and write it out, like, God, this is what I want to be different in my life, and this is how I plan to execute it. And if this isn't how I should execute it, can you help me to show me how I should
Right.
execute that? Because I'm desperate. I don't know what else to do. I've tried everything in my power, but now it's time for me to try something different. And it's just a process. Once again, you have to stay with it. And I think that's the hardest part too, is that you can take 10 steps forward and feel like you get knocked 30 steps back. But you have to understand that that's a part of the process too. It's not going to be smooth and sweet. It's just about how you respond to it. It's all a test. We talked about in the valley experience, um, and just standing in your faith and, excuse me, trusting God. Once you know that God has your back, God has God has your front and your back. He's guiding your
Yeah.
steps. He's holding your hand literally as you're walking. You just literally have to be willing to grab his hand and walk with him. That's really what it's ultimately about. So I just wanted to reflect today. What could I have done different in 2022? Could I have been more confident in the things that I've done? Could I have been more diligent in doing things? Could I have been more disciplined in making certain purchases? Could I have not went to Starbucks 4 times last week? You know what I'm saying? Like, literally, these are things that we have to ask ourselves. I know people that go to Starbucks 4 times a day. Like, so,
Yeah.
and that's $10 a drink. So, it adds up, but
Right.
it's literally a breakdown. And it becomes mental once you actually put the work in and actually get down to it, because nobody wants to be on a budget. Nobody wants to. It's
Facts.
my money, and I want to do what I want to do. It's my life, and I want to live how I want to live. So,
Facts.
why would I? Why do I have to do things? But in order to get to where you want to be, you have to sacrifice. Life is all about sacrificing. You want to go back to school and get that degree. Okay, you might have a few more hours a day that you're missing out with your kids than you want to, but in the end, it's worth it because you got that degree. You're walking across the stage. You might want the better job that might require you to work 12 hours a day. But guess what? You only work in 3 days a week. So now you get 4 more days to spend with your kids,
Facts. Man.
So, and I think people don't think about that. I think we just think, we work, pay bills, and then we die. But it does not have to be that way.
Not
We
at all.
literally can have a good life. It's about balance, it's about discipline, and it's about motivation. Sometimes your kids can motivate you, but sometimes kids aren't always the best motivators because then you get caught up in, well, I'm making money, but I'm spending money on them and their needs. And you have to realize that you play a part in that too. And you have to clap for yourself,
Right. No, for
because
sure.
I think that's a problem with myself too. After this year, the day of prayer, to be honest, I felt like it wasn't successful. I felt like it wasn't what I wanted it to be,
Got you.
but it was everything that God wanted it to be.
Oh,
You know, we had pastors from all over the city, and when I sit back and reflect, I'm like, wow, Kira, you know, it really was an excellent event. You know what I'm saying? But just because it wasn't up to your standards, like you're
yeah.
doing God's work. As
Right.
long as you're doing God's work, everything is good. As long
No
as you're
facts.
doing it and obeying by His command, you know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
for
So,
sure.
but it took me a while to. It took me a few months to get out of that depression as to like, okay, maybe this isn't what I should do, God. You know, like, but we all do that though. We all make have an achievement and then we dumb it down like, oh, I got a new car. Well, I got a $250 payment, but so what? God gave me the
Right.
money to make that payment, right?
Facts.
God gave me the money to pay these bills, right? Yeah. So we have to adjust to that. You know, we have to be okay with that. And even if you're paying just the minimum on the bills, it doesn't matter because the bills are paid.
Right.
It's not about nothing's shut off, nothing's as long as everything is working, and even if something is shut off for the moment, God's gonna handle it, and you
Oh,
gotta trust
always.
that. You know, don't sometimes we just beat ourselves up, and I going into 2023, I don't want us to beat ourselves up. I just want us to be disciplined, to be motivated, and to worry about what we can do differently in 2023 to make our lives better.
Yeah.
And that's just as us for a whole. Like literally, I just want the best for my people and all people, and I just pray that when y'all make our New Year's resolutions, that y'all say, well, this is what I want, but what can I break that down to do to get to what I want? I want to get in the gym. So you know what I did, y'all? I broke it down. I'm gonna get in the gym. But I am not gonna be in there like, yep, I'm about to lose 20 pounds. No, I'm gonna get in the gym. I'm gonna get active. Once I get accumulated to being active and working out, then maybe I'll set a goal to lose 5 or 10 pounds.
Yeah.
But I'm not
Get
jumping
comfortable
straight to
with being there.
25.
Yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
and then I have to get comfortable with being in the gym with all these people who work out on a daily basis. That's hard
Yeah.
enough in itself. I used
Fact.
to go to LA Fitness. And if you know LA Fitness, that's just like Devo City. Like you can't come
Not
to
for
LA if
beginners.
you don't know how to work out. Like you walk in and you're intimidated instantly, and it's like,
Yeah.
whoa, maybe I came in the wrong time. Let me go back out. But seriously, just setting those small goals for myself is just to be more active, to be more when I can go to the park and play with my kids and not be out of breath,
Yeah.
not be out of breath walking up and down the stairs. We literally have to do things differently. We have to think before we act, which is something that we're taught as children. You just literally have to do things differently. So tonight, I just pray that going forward in 2023, I pray for that we all prosper. I pray that we all achieve our highest levels. And again, I know it's not going to happen overnight, but if we write the vision and make it plain, I know that it's very much possible. And I think we will see results a lot more faster than us just setting goals and just
Trying to
leaving them
wing it.
behind.
Yeah.
So write it down, write down your list, let God know what you need, what you want, and ask God to help you get there. Ask God to say, hey, God, this is my plan, but I don't know exactly what I need to do to go about it or how to go about it. And use your resources. Don't be afraid to ask for help. I think, like earlier when we was talking with the storm and everything, ask your neighbor, like, hey,
Yeah.
do you have something that I can borrow? Like, ask for help. And you don't have to tell everyone your business just to do those things. You don't
Right.
have to tell people your whole life story. You can literally just say, hey, this is what I'm trying to do. Can you help me? Or no. And it's simple
Right.
as that. Don't let anyone take advantage of you. You just literally go for it with confidence and say, hey, this is what I'm trying to do. I don't know everything, but what can I just need help in these areas. So I hope tonight that y'all just go forward. 2023, more life, more blessings. We survived a pandemic. So I know that God got a plan for all of us if we're still here. And just do things differently. Just think different, react different, and I promise that you will prosper. Have discipline, have motivation, but most of all, have faith. Have faith in God and trust Him and trust His plan going forward with your life. I pray nothing for blessings for you all. I thank everybody for tuning in tonight. And Jack Mondays, each and every Monday, I will see y'all next week at 7 p.m. And I hope you have a blessed night.